Thank you very much. Thank you, Antonio and Luca, for inviting me, and to Letizia for organizing everything. This has been a wonderful and fascinating and an exciting conference, so congratulations, and I wish you many more. Many of you in the room may know my colleague Susie Stroud, who has been working with Italian publishers for several months now. For those who don't know me, my name is Joe Schick, and like Susie, I'm based in the United States, work for Baker&Taylor, where for the last year I've been working almost exclusively with publishers on digital solutions outside the United States. I've actually been doing ebooks for almost 8 years though, and beginning at Pearson Education. And so I've seen a lot of things change. Most of them have been exciting and for the better, but there are some areas of concern that we should all consider as this develops. The main thing is that ebook, the word ebook, has taken on a significance, a connotation of black and white text on black and white screens. And I think there are problems with both parts of this. With the black and white text, obviously that's great for people who only read novels or popular nonfiction or sometimes academic books. But when you think about the books that those of you who are publishers publish, the books that you sell, the books that are on your bookshelves at home, the books that you like to read, chances are, when you think of the paper book world, there is much more beyond simply black and white text. There's art books, travel guides, cookbooks. If you have children, you may have illustrated children's books. And so far, all of these have been excluded from the ebook world. So we have an ebook world that looks very different from the paper book world. The second part of it is the black and white screens. So again, that's good for just black and white text, but you can't get illustrated titles on it, or color titles, or titles with multimedia. And it also runs in opposition to that other great change that's happened in the digital world over the last few years, the explosion of smartphones and multimedia devices. So when you think about these devices, everyone who has a smartphone or a tablet, when you purchase one of these expensive devices, everyone who does it makes a very personal choice. It's the question of what matches your lifestyle. Some people just want it for email, for phone calls, for games, for movies, for web surfing, all sorts of things. And it has to fit the size that they want, the portability, the interactivity. And so rather than compete with that by then telling customers, well, this is what you want for your lifestyle, but if you want books, you have to get a different device. We think that the best thing to do is to get the books to match the customer's lifestyle on that very personal device that they have chosen. So our solution for this is Blio. Now, I'll take the remote. Let's see. There we go. So Blio, for those who don't know Baker&Taylor, Baker&Taylor is the largest distributor of print books in North America. Baker&Taylor serves about 95% of public and academic libraries in the United States and Canada, and also thousands of customers, booksellers and libraries around the world. So Baker&Taylor has a long, I believe, 180-year history of connecting publishers with customers. But the other partner in Blio is a company called KNFB Reading Technology. And as Antonio mentioned, the K is Kurzweil Technologies, which many of you may know the name Ray Kurzweil. He invented optical character recognition. He invented text-to-speech, the music synthesizer. These are things that we take for granted today. But these are pioneering achievements in pattern recognition. The other partner, the NFB, is the National Federation of the Blind in the United States, which wanted to create ebooks that would be accessible to everyone. So naturally, they teamed up with Ray Kurzweil, came up with Blio, and they're working with Baker&Taylor to connect publishers to customers with the Blio technology. So the format itself, the first thing to understand is there is no hardware device. Again, we want to get onto those devices that each customer chooses, a very personal choice. So this is software only. It's a free solution, so it's a free downloadable reader. We'll make our money by selling books, selling content. It's downloadable, which means you have to be online to access your account, to buy the books, to then download them. But after that, you can be disconnected from the internet. So cloud supported, but downloadable. And for those publishers who want it, we are protecting their books with Microsoft Digital Rights Management so we can keep them safe and secure. So with that, let me show you what it's all about. This is the Windows version of Blio. This is the first one that's available, although we are developing similar solutions for a variety of other operating systems, including Android, iOS, and several other desktop platforms. So we want this to be device agnostic and work on everything. So the books that you'll see here probably look more representative of what is on a personal bookshelf than what has been available in the ebook world so far. So you think of EPUBs. We have trade publishers giving us tens of thousands of EPUB titles. We have deals with all the major publishers in the United States. We're working to sign up other publishers in the United Kingdom and Australia to round out our English language options, but then also Susie and I are working to get publishers outside the English language. So we have many EPUB titles. So those are definitely the backbone of the collection. But that's also where most other solutions stop, and that's really where Blio starts to get interesting, because we also have illustrated titles. So think of children's books, illustrated children's titles. Nobody has done children's books as ebooks so far. They can make very expensive apps for Android or for iOS, but nobody's doing ebooks, because if you tried to take a book with an artistic layout and put it into EPUB, you would ruin it. So instead, we preserve it. Keep it the way it was supposed to be. But then, we make it in such a way that if you have a device with a color screen, which we all do, now you can actually enjoy it the way it was meant to be. And there's even more. Now, I will show you something for an English title. If any of you have children or publish children's books, you know that there are many books that come with a little compact disc in the back of the book, and they have some celebrity reading the title. So the child can open the book and then put the CD into the CD player and listen to it and follow along. Well, rather than having these be separate products, book over here, audio over there, again, think of Kurzweil Technologies, pattern recognition. Put that CD into automated speech recognition software and have the computers automatically marry the text and the audio. And this is what you get.
The three little pigs were all pink and plump, and they all had curly-whirly tails. When it was time for them to make their way in the world, their mother gave them a piece of advice. "Look after yourselves," she said, "and whatever you do, keep out of the way of the big bad wolf." Then she gave each of them a goodbye nose rub, and off they went. The first little pig scampered.
You get the idea. What's important to note is that two things. One is that this was completely automated. The computer did all the work. And the second thing is that unlike a CD where you start at the first track and then you do the next track, this is actually indexed down to the individual words. So I can start anywhere in the book.
"No, no, no, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin."
So this is revolutionary. And this is also something that we can scale. In other words, publishers do not have to invest a lot of money to now make exciting, interesting ebooks out of their illustrated titles. So all of a sudden, we have children's publishers that are interested in doing ebooks for the first time. But it's not just children's. Ooh, my computer is acting up. So let me restart. Of course, this only happens during demonstrations when there's a camera. So we have more than just children's titles. We have titles for grown-ups. And I apologize to any vegetarians in the audience. This is a barbecue grilling book. But it's an interesting point, because not only is it a cookbook, which again, this is something that cookbook publishers have not been doing ebooks so far. Again, if you have an illustrated title, you wouldn't want to lose the layout. So what we do here is we put this through, again, think Kurzweil Technologies, pattern recognition. And if you were to think of this in terms of that accessibility, the National Federation of the Blind wanted to create accessible ebooks. So for a reader like JAWS, the assistive technology to work, it's very easy with an EPUB file. Start at the beginning, go to the end. But what do you do when you have a PDF that comes in with multiple columns? That's not so easy for the software to figure out. So Blio analyzes this, and as we convert it to the Blio reader format, what we do is burn in the reading order. So that's good for text-to-speech, but it also gives something else for the rest of us. If any of you have ever tried to read a PDF on an iPhone, you know it's not a pleasant experience. You have a very big screen, a very big page you put on a tiny screen. So you pinch, you zoom, you move it over. Not a good way to read a book. So what we do is, rather than having to move the page around the screen, the software does it for you. And so we use what we call read logic. So now, this software will scroll the page for you in the correct reading order according to the size of the screen. And this is an automatic process to analyze this. And if you are on a tablet device with a touch screen, you simply tap the screen and it goes to the next section of the page. So now we can take an illustrated title, make it behave like EPUB to display on whatever size screen you want without having to destroy the illustrations. And then last but not least, we get to those most complex of titles, textbooks. Now this was designed to be an ideal education solution, and I worked in digital publishing and education for several years, so I know a bit about this. And I know that the first thing, if you want to have a digital textbook, it has to do everything that you can do with a print textbook. So that means you have to be able to highlight, you have to be able to take notes, put in your references. Okay, that's fine, we can do that. So we can do that. Let's find a good page here with something other than the author's pictures. And as you can see, I've put in a lot of highlights. So doing all my studying. So let's zoom in here. And if I want to highlight, no problem. It's digital. Pick whatever color you want. Want to put in a note? Let's put in a note in the margin. But then, all of this is downloaded, and you don't have to be online for it. If you are online, though, you could do more. Let's say I want to know what the word physiology means. So, as long as I'm online, I'm just going to right-click, and let's do a Google search. And notice, we are still inside the Blio Reader software. You didn't have to leave it, so you can keep the entire experience inside your book reading software. But then, there's another piece of it. So for example, the professor may say, please do not use Wikipedia in my class. So you want to change that list. Very easy. You go up here. We'll go to our references. We could delete Wikipedia, and maybe you want to put in an Italian medical dictionary instead. So you can change that and customize it for each user. But then, you know, when you think about this, now we've covered everything that you can do with a textbook, plus a little more with the integrating it online. Then you get to the things that you cannot do with a print textbook, such as put multimedia in it. So if you want to know the parts of the skull, rather than going online and having to leave your book, you can see why I'm not a doctor, you can actually embed the examinations inside. That was downloadable. There are actually ways to make it go online as well. And let us go to a quiz. And now you'll really see why I'm not a doctor. Now notice this is a 2-page spread of the book. And what you have on the left side is essentially a miniature web page drawn inside the book. And the link that it's going to is the publisher's online test bank, their examination questions. So in real time, let's take a quiz on muscle tissue, everyone's favorite subject. So we go to here, and in real time, it will download questions and send back my answers. So this can point anywhere that the publisher wants it to go. So this could be streaming video of an author interview, it could be online solutions, it could be interactive material. It's very simple. You draw a box, you put the link to where you want it to go, and now the book can be as dynamic as the publisher wants to make it. So that's Blio, the platform in a nutshell. How do you make these? How do we get from here to there? Okay. First thing is, if publishers can give us PDF files to our specifications, a simple bookmarked PDF, a web-ready PDF optimized for ebook viewing, or an EPUB file, we will put it into the Blio platform free of charge. Very important. For metadata, we use either industry standard Onyx metadata or Excel. And then for the multimedia books, such as the one I just showed you, if you want to do that extra work, rather than having to hire an outside conversion house to create those, we actually have a partnership with Quark. So in the new version of Quark Express 9, you can actually make your changes, put in your multimedia, and export directly to a Blio file. If your files are in InDesign, then you can use third-party software called ID2Q to convert your file from InDesign to Quark, make the changes the way you want them to be, and then export to a Blio file. So it's no more difficult than laying out the print book, which you're doing in the first place anyway. So then, how do we get these to market? The first thing is through online booksellers. So one of the things you'll notice is that we are not seeking to reinvent the market completely. In fact, there are very well-developed channels. Baker&Taylor's done very well. Most of the publishers and distributors in the room here have done very well. We think that there's a way to take that and move it to the digital era. So with online booksellers, let's talk about retail distribution. We think this can look very much in the digital world like it does in the print world, where now you have a system where Italian publishers will sell through Italian distributors and get to Italian retailers and Italian customers. And that's fine. And if you want to import international content for those publishers overseas who are publishing in other languages, great. So, very straightforward. Customer pays the publisher, but downloads the book from our servers. It's all invisible. Chances are the customer will never know the name Baker&Taylor because we're a business-to-business supplier. That's fine. We are here to support you in your sales. The retailers pay the distributors, who pay the publishers. I am happy to announce today that our first distribution partner, their publisher, aggregator, and content distribution partner in Italy is Simplicissimo's Book Farm. So thank you, Antonio and Luca. We also have the opportunity to work together for international content. So if the customer wants to buy English titles, they can get them that we are acting as the aggregator and making them available, and we take care of paying the publishers. Consider also that in another country, your titles would be considered the international publishers if we're selling to a customer in France, in Germany, in the United States. So we now have an easy way to get your titles to markets around the world, and you can reach your audiences everywhere. So that's online booksellers. Second thing is computer manufacturers. So we have new computer partners who are selling their devices, their tablets, their netbooks, notebooks, smartphones, and they want you to be able to get, as you've made this very personal choice about what fits your lifestyle, get your music, your movies, your games, and your books on it. So several of them have chosen Blio to power their ebook program. So the first three are Toshiba, HP, and Dell. They are already shipping devices in the United States and will very shortly begin shipping them in North America, so Canada, Mexico, the United Kingdom, and in a few months' time in Europe as well. So we are now opening up channels for selling books that have not existed before. So it's very straightforward. The customer buys it through their Blio-powered solution, which is typically a store inside the application on their device. They pay, but download from our servers, once again, totally invisible. They pay us, we pay the distributors and the publishers in turn. So very straightforward. Then we get to the education world. As you've seen, it's an ideal platform for textbooks. We have a great deal of interest, not only in the United States, but around the world in using this for digital textbook solutions. Well, in many cases, students will just go online and buy books through one of these systems. You know, it depends on the country, depends on the scenario. So where you have situations where students get a reading list and the instructor says, go buy this book, we have many stores that we're empowering where they can go buy them. But in other cases where you, the publishers, distributors, are selling directly to institutions or directly to the students, we can work in the background. So you can maintain those same relationships but use the same technology. So what that looks like is you sell to your customer, the customer downloads from Blio, again, completely invisible, and we just negotiate a fulfillment fee. So all we are doing is being a technology provider for you, but you maintain all of your existing relationships. And then last but not least, as I mentioned, Baker&Taylor is the largest library supplier in North America and one of the major suppliers around the world, and we want to bring Blio to the libraries. We think it's an ideal solution. So we have developed a solution that we are calling Axis 360. This is what it will look like to the library patron. The person who logs into their library website with their library card number and their password and searches for the book that they want. The libraries will purchase copies of the book. It looks exactly like the print book model now. If they buy one copy, then one person at a time can read it. If they want 5 copies, then 5 people can read it. The user goes in, finds that what they want, they add it to their checkout list, they check out, and what happens is, when the library has purchased the books from us, and we've paid the publisher and the distributor, then the patron can download the book from our servers, but the book expires. So if the library says your checkout period is 2 weeks or it's 3 weeks, then after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it disappears from your device, disappears from your account, and someone else can now check it out. Looks just like the print world, except now it's the digital solution for it. So when will all this be available? In the United States, it's available. We started with a very small catalog in September and the Windows platform. We are now preparing other reader clients for other operating systems. And the catalog has grown significantly. We have about 70,000 titles now from all of the major publishers in the United States. We're working with independents. We're working with university presses, the whole range of publishers. And we have 120,000 titles in production now. So we will soon have close to 200,000 titles in the store. That's just United States English titles. Well, we're getting international English titles, and as I said, Susie and I are here because we are working with publishers in Italy, France, Spain, Holland, Germany, and beyond. So we can get a full global solution with this. So manufacturers are beginning to ship devices in the UK, Canada, Mexico this month. We'll go international later this spring and into the summer. And we will launch to public and school libraries at the American Library Association Conference in June 2011. So right around the corner for us. So we have been working very hard to make this a comprehensive solution. And as you can see from this, a great deal is developing over the next 6 months. And that's how we will be acquiring content, getting into the system, making it available for sale in multiple languages, in multiple countries, multiple currencies, getting it on readers for whatever devices the customers want to use, and enabling the full range of business models. So Susie and I look forward to working with you and partnering with Simplicissimo's Book Farm, the other publishers and distributors here, to work with you and join forces on this new generation of ebooks for the Italian market. So thank you very much.
A voi però le domande per Joe.
Giulio Blasi from Media Library Online. Could you give us some more details on the scheme, your distribution scheme for public libraries and academic libraries? I mean, could you give some details on the pricing models, subscription schemes, and what's exactly the relationship with the retailers, distributors in this? And any detail would be welcome.
Okay. So question of how we will go to public libraries. We're beginning with public and school libraries. Obviously, the major audience that we have is in the United States and Canada, but by no means the exclusive audience. So once again, we want this to work very much like the print solution. So in the print world, the way that libraries will buy their books, for the most part, they will log into our system. We have a system called Title Source. And they search through it and they find the print books that they want and they select and they order copies. Some of them are set up to automatically receive copies. They may say that I want to get every book that is published on this subject or potentially in this language, and we will simply ship them the copies. Well, now we have integrated Blio into Title Source. So the books will show up side by side. The librarian logs into the system and they see, here's the book I want. I can get print or the Blio ebook. When they select the Blio ebook, it is instantly available to their customers. The pricing model is set by the publishers. It's very much like the existing model. The publisher supplies us with a list price, and for every copy that sells, we sell them the wholesale price. We pay them the wholesale price. And there's the one user, one copy model. So again, that's the one that publishers are most comfortable with. Again, it looks exactly like the print model. So we want to tap into that same range of buying habits and techniques that the librarians have and offer them a model that's comfortable for everyone.
Will you apply a platform price, or there will be no platform price?
You know, we are making are you a librarian or with the university? Yeah.
Offering services to librarians.
Offering services to librarians. Okay, so we should have a conversation afterwards because I'm on the publisher-facing side, but we have an extensive team that sells to libraries in the US and Canada and an international sales team as well that works with them. So we have customized solutions for each library.